Hi, welcome to my video on a quadratic is a function of. Fill in the blank. P equals 4s. Parameter is a function of the side, which is the s. Y equals 2x plus 6. Y is a function of x. V equals s squared. The volume is a function of the side, which is s. So V is a function of s. P equals 2L plus 2W. The parameter is a function of L and W, which is the length and the width. Notice up here, P is a function of s, Y is a function of s, x, V is a function of s, so that's just one variable on each side. But here, in order to get the parameter, I need the length and the width. So the parameter is a function of both of them. And in E, area is a half the base times the height. Area is a function of the base and the height. I need the base, which is B, and the height in order to get the area. Quadratic, the height is 5t squared plus 30t. The height is a function of t, which is time. H is height, t is time. So notice h is on the, what's a function of is always on the right side. Note, the left side is always a function of the right side. So when the left side has one variable and the right side has one or more variables, then the left side is a function of what's on the right. If the diameter of a circle is a function of the radius, then the diameter is on the left side and the radius is on the right side. And the equation is d equals 2r. Notice d is the function of r. When I give you the radius, you multiply by 2 and you get the diameter. If the radius is a function of the diameter, then the radius is on the right and the diameter is on the left. So that means if d equals 2r, dividing by 2, then r is equal to d over 2, or half d. So r is equal to d divided by 2, or r is equal to 1/2 d. R is now a function of d, which means when I give you the diameter, you take a half of it and you get the radius. Again, d is a function of r is a function of d. Let's continue. Number 2, 4x plus 2y equals 12. And notice both x and y are on the left side. Express y as a function of x. That means I have to solve it for y. So 2y equals negative 4x plus 12. Divide by 2. I get y is equal to negative 2x plus 6. Now y is a function of x. Y is on the left and x is on the right. Express x as a function of y. That means I have to solve it for x. So that means the x is on the left. X is a function of y. X is on the left, notice, is a function of y is on the right. So I do move the y over, make it negative, and divide by 4. X is equal to a half y plus 3. So x is a function of y. So when I give you y values, you plug them in to get the x. Up here, when I give you the x values, you plug them in to get the values of y. Number 3, the volume. Notice the volume is a function of L, W, and H. Express L as a function of V, W, and H. So if volume equals length times width times height, and I want L as a function of these, that means I have to divide both sides by WH. WH cancels out. I get L is V over WH, and that means that L equals V over WH. Now I have the length as a function of V, W, and H. Again, the L is on the left and the other variable is on the right. Number 4, y equals 2a. and a equals 3x plus 4. Notice right here, y is a function of a. Right here, a is a function of x, but I want y as a function of x. So that means if I want y as a function of x, I have to remove the a by substitution. So if y equals 2a and a equals 3x plus 4, so I'm going to sub 3x plus 4 into place of a. So y equals 6x plus 8. Now I have y as a function of x. If I want y as a function of x, it means I have to remove the a from these equations. Number 5, h equals y minus 7. H is a function of y. Notice here, h is a function of x. I want y as a function of x, which means I have to eliminate the h. So I want y as a function of x. So since they're both equal to h, that means y minus 7 is equal to x plus 3. So notice they're both equal to h. So y minus 7 is equal to x plus 3 because they're both equal to h by transitive or substitution. I want y as a function of x, so now I'll solve for y. So y equals x plus 10. Y is a function of x. That means y is on the left, x is on the right, with no other variables. So let's continue. Number 6. And again, if you want to work this out before I do it, then pause the video and work them out. The volume is pi r squared h. Notice the volume is a function of r and h. In order to get the volume, you need the r and the h. H equals 3r. In order to get the h, I need to have r. H is a function of r. But I want the volume as a function of r. If I want the volume as a function of r, I have to remove the h. So therefore, volume equals pi r squared h. And h is equal to 3r. So I put 3r in the place of h. So volume equals pi. And that gives me, if I multiply by 3, let me put a 3 here first. 3r cubed. Volume equals 3 pi r cubed. Sorry about that. I wanted the constants to go in front of the variable of r. So notice r squared times r1 is r cubed. So the constant is 3. Pi is a constant 3.14. And so the volume now is a function of r. Express the area of a square as a function of its parameter. Well, we know that a square has 4 equal sides, which is s, 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 s. So the area of a square is s squared. It's length times width, so it's length times width is x times x. The perimeter of a square is add up all the sides, is 4s. So notice here, area is a function of s. Notice here, perimeter is a function of s. But I want the area as a function of p. That means I have to replace the area. I have to replace the s with the p. So p equals 4s. So p divided by 4 is equal to s. So p over 4 equals s. Therefore, I need s replaced. So s is equal to p over 4. So p divided by 4 is subbed in. And that gives me the area is p times p. That's a square there, sorry. P times p is p squared over 16. Or the area is 1 over 16 p squared. So now we have the area as a function of p. What it means, again, area as a function of p, s is not in the equation at all. So we have to, again, area is on the left, parameters on the right. So that means I have to fill in this s in terms of p. The perimeter of a rectangle is 40 meters. Express the length as a function of the width. Now the perimeter of a rectangle got a length, a width, and a width. So the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. So that means the perimeter is a function of L and W. But we want to express the length as a function of the width. So the perimeter is equal to 40. So if the perimeter is equal to 40, we put 40 in the place of P. And now we have 40 equals 2L plus 2W. We want to express the length as a function of the width. So we want to take this equation and solve it for L. So negative 2L equals 2W minus 40. And I divide by negative 2. So L equals negative W plus 20. And that's, now you have the length as a function of the width. Or you could have L equals 20 minus W. Whatever way you want to write it, your choice. Again, perimeter is a function of the length and the width. Replace the P with 40 because it's given. And now we can solve this for L. So the length is a function of the width. The length is on the left, the width is on the right. Number 9, the length of a rectangle is 10 more than the width. The length, again, we let L be the length, and we let W be the width. So the length, it says the length of a rectangle is 10 more. The length is equal sign 10 more than the width, so it's the width plus 10. So we have this equation coming out of this sentence. Now I want the area as a function of the width. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. We want the area as a function of the width. That means right now the area is a function of length and width, but I only want the area as a function of the width. That means L got to be replaced or subbed in for W. So L is W plus 10 because of this equation, because of this sentence, and we leave it like that, or we can multiply W times W, W squared plus 10W. And notice the length is a function of the width. Here the area is a function of the length and the width, but this express the area as a function of the width. So the area now is a function of the width. So area is W squared plus 10W. Just takes a while to get used to it. With terminology, just get used to it. Remember, whatever you want is a function of, you got a left and a right side. The height of a triangle is 10 times the base. The height, I'm going to let the height be H. The height is H, and the base is B in a triangle. The height is 10 times the base. The height is 10 times the base. That's the first sentence right there. Express the area as a function of the base. Right now, the area is a half base times height. The area is a function of base and height. But I want what it's saying here, express the area as a function of the base. So the area is a function of the base. That means the height has to be substituted or replaced with, the height is 10b. So the area, half of 10 is 5. B times b is b squared. Now the area is a function of the base. Again, the relationship is the height is 10 times the base. So another way to write it out, we get the same answer if this, explain it this way. If I have a base of 2, then the height is 10b, so the height is going to be 10 times 2. So the height is going to be a 20. Okay, so if I work out the area is half the base times the height, half the base is 2. The height is 20. So a half of 2 is 1, so we get 20 square units. If I use base and height, 2 and 20, I'll get the area is 20. But if I use the relationship that the height is 10 times the base, I got 5b squared. So b is 2, and I square it. So 5 times 4, and you still get the same answer, 20. So notice, this is why in math, you just got to be careful. The area is a function of the base, so area is on the left, base is on the right, and there's no other variable in this area formula. And this is an example to show you what's going on. Number 11, let x be one number and let y be the other number. Write an equation if the sum of the two numbers is 10. Write an equation if the sum of the two numbers is 10. So one number is x and the other number is y. So in the equation, the sum means add, the sum of the two numbers is 10. X is one number, y is a number. So sum means add, so the sum of the two numbers, x plus y, is 10. Write an equation for the product of the two numbers. So the product, p, is equal to x times y. X and y are the two numbers, so the product is p equals x times y. Now, express the product as a function of x. Notice the product is in terms of the function of the two numbers, but I want the product in terms of x only. That means you have to take the first equation, and if I want the product in terms of x only, that means I have to replace the y. So if I take the first equation, which has a sum, so y equals negative x plus 10. So if I put negative x plus 10 in the place of y equals negative x squared plus 10x. So what do I have? Y is a function of x, knowing the sum is 10. And again, if the two numbers adds up to 10, then y is negative x plus 10. Replace the y with negative x plus 10, and we got the product is p. P is the product. Product is p. Sum, you see in math, is signified as the s. And number 11b, the sum of two numbers is 6. Express the product as a function of one of the numbers. So if the sum of two numbers is 6, I can do it. You can do it two ways. You can do it, watch this, you can do it right away. If you let x be one number, then you can say, if the sum of two numbers is 6, then the other number is 6 minus x. So if two numbers adds up to 6, one is x, the other one is 6 minus x. The product is a function of one of the numbers. So the product is the multiplication. So it's x times 6 minus x. So the product is 6x minus x squared. The product is negative x squared plus 6x. So if you let x be one number and 6 minus x be the other, then the product is the product of the two numbers. You got to multiply these two, and then you can simplify the equation. So now the product is a function of one of the numbers. Didn't say, and I used x each time. Another way to do that is if you say let x be one number, you could say let x be one number, and you could let y be the other number. Now I'm using, so here I use x and 6 minus x. Here I'm using x and y. Okay, what happens? The sum of the two numbers, is 6. So the sum is x plus y. The sum is equal to 6. Therefore, x plus y is 6. Which makes sense. Sum is add. The sum is 6. So the two numbers adds up to give you 6. Express the product as a function. So the product of the two numbers are x and y. So we want the product as a function of one of them. So if I take this equation and solve it for y, and then sub it in over here, I have the product is a function of one of the numbers x. So you can do it this way by saying one number is x and the other one is 6 minus x, and the product is automatically, the product p is the multiplication of these two. Much quicker. This is another way to do it, but here you're using x and y. But when you're finished, the y, I always write it in terms of x. I don't write any of them in terms of y. I always have the product in terms of x. That's x. Remember when we did the solving of quadratics, we always had x squared plus 3x minus 4 or something like that. So I have the product in terms of x. Number 13. Let x be one number and let y be another. Write an equation if the two numbers differ by 20. So the two numbers differ by 20. So that means if x minus y equals 20. Or you could have y minus x equals 20. Two numbers differ by 20. You want an equation, you're subtracting them. So it's either or. X minus y is 20 or this one. Differ means to subtract. Write an equation for the product of the two numbers. So the product of the two numbers, one number is x, the other one is y. The product of the two numbers is x times y. Based on what we have, express the product as a function of x. So the product is x times y. Now we want the product as a function of x. So let's take this equation, move the x to the right, change the sign, and multiply by -1. Y equals x minus 20. So now, because I have this equation solved for y, I can say the product is x and x minus 20. So the product is x squared minus 20x, if you want us. So the product is a function of one of the numbers. Right here, the product is a function of the two of them. But solving this equation for y allows me to have the product as a function of x. I could solve this equation for x and sub it in here. Product would be a function of y then. Okay. 13b. Two numbers differ by 7. Again, two possibilities. Earlier on, when we did grade 9, I have a unit on doing word problems and expressions in Algebra 1. And we're doing word problems or expressions. Algebraic expressions is a unit, and word problems have a unit. Two numbers differ by 7. If I let x be one number, two numbers differ by 7, then I'm going to have x minus 7 be the other number. Again, differ means, to me, when I say differ means subtract. So if I give you 10 and it differs, then you have a 3 because you take 10 and subtract 7. So if you have one number is x, the other one is x minus 7. And write the product as a function. So the product is x times x minus 7. So the product is x squared minus 7x. So the product is a function of one of the numbers. Right now, doing it this way makes it easy. If you do it the other way, and you let x be one number, and you let y be the other number, then the two numbers differ. X minus y equals 7. And the product is a function of one of the numbers. Right now, the product is x times y. But I only need one of them. So I'm going to solve this equation for y. Multiply by -1 makes it positive, positive, minus. And now the product, y is x minus 7. So the product is, you get the same answer. But notice here, right away, if two numbers differ by 7, I can say one is x and the other one is x minus 7. Then you can multiply them and you'll have the product as a function of one of them. If you use x and y, then you got to work through like this. So it's the same, only this is a little bit longer and explaining it with x and y. Okay, let's continue. Function notation. F of x equals 4x plus 3. The f is a function of x. Notice the f is on the left, x is on the right. Area is a function of r. Notice area is a function notation. The area A is a function of r. Notice we have r area with r, f of x. This is the area of in terms of r, area of in terms of r. So we got area as a function of r. So notice area is here. So if I wrote down area equals pi r squared, it's the same thing, only now I'm using the function notation. And notice area bracket r, r is only on this side. I have f of x. Notice the only variable on the right side is x. Notice I have h of t. The only variable on the right side is t. So h is a function of t. H is on the right. The h of t means this equation got all t's on the right side. Now the area L comma W. The area is a function of length. Notice length and width is in the bracket. So that means L and W is over on this side. So that means the area A is a function of length and width. The two of them are here. We normally don't see this. And the area, notice L times W is L and W is here. But we want L is equal to W plus 4. We want the area as a function of W. So that means that the LW, I want the area as a function of W. So that means L got to be replaced with W plus 4. When we do, now notice the area is a function of W only. The length is being replaced with X or W plus 4. But here the area is a function of length and width. To get the area with this equation, I need the length and the width. Because the length is 4 more than the width, now I can have this equation for the area. And number 6, the area is a function of the base and the height. So area is a half base times the height. This is what you would normally see. But using the function notation, it's understood that we got the b and the h is in here because the b and the h is on the right side. But if we want the area as a function of b, if the h is equal to 6b plus 4, then we have a half base times height is the equation, and the height is replaced with 6b plus 4, and we multiply, we get 3b squared plus 2b. Now the area is a function of b. The base is only on the right side. Hopefully you understand what's being said, but you won't see this explained. Yes, again, some teachers, some books explain it, but I try to make it so that, because when you do more math coming up later, especially in calculus, this is important. When you're in the first course in calculus, very important to understand what I'm doing here. And if you like my video, click on the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Visit my website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content of a YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video.